So let's take a look at day 4, the urogenital system. Now, the urogenital system is composed of two things: the reproductive structures as well as the urinary system. So urogenital, that's where that comes from. So on the back body wall, if we look over here on this side, let's spin it around over here because this guy's still in place. You probably have already freed this up, but this is a kidney. And it's something called retroperitoneal. So this white shiny stuff, it's not really white, it's just clear shiny stuff, that's the peritoneum. And so the kidneys are actually outside of the abdominal cavity. So evolution has thrown them outside of the abdominal cavity. If you take your blunt probe and just kind of work it, it's kind of like the way a peanut can come out of its shell. Okay, so I've worked that free. So sometimes they're dark like this one is, sometimes they're not. Okay, so there's a kidney right there. And they have their own connective tissue structure. So it's attached to a couple of blood vessels we'll get to on the other side here in just a second. But that's a kidney. That's what they look like. So let's flip it over here and look at the one that I've already pulled out for the most part. Retroperitoneal. So it's outside the peritoneum. Okay. So right now you can see coming from the kidney we have this squiggly tube. So that's connected to the bladder. There's our urinary bladder right there. Okay, so this is called a ureter. So that takes the urine that's produced here in the kidney to the bladder over here. And what's on both sides of the urinary bladder? I removed that. Those are the urinary arteries. So now this is a male pig, so this is going to look a little bit different, but again, male and female, you need to know it. So kidney, ureter, urinary bladder, urinary arteries that are on both sides of the bladder. So blood comes from this structure right here. Let's get that clear. Come on, get out. There's some connective tissue. So this is the descending aorta. So this is a big honking blood vessel, this structure right here. That has a branch, the renal artery, that sends blood into there, that gets filtered, turns into urine. Urine travels down the ureter to the to the bladder. So, what are these guys? Well, we'll talk about that in just a second. So, bladder is right here. So how does the urine get from here? This is a male again, out this urogenital opening. Move that to the middle. So here's the urogenital opening. Let's kind of trace it back. I've removed the skin here, so I've done a lot of dissection already. Underneath the skin, there's this tube. So this is the penis of this pig. So this runs all the way back, and it's underneath the skin. I've peeled it all the way back, and then it's just in front of the tail, and then it goes down. It goes underneath the pelvis. You probably can't see that very well. Underneath the pelvis, and actually connects with the urinary bladder over here. So the bladder has an opening that connects with the penis. Urine travels down, 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 and then back up and out this urogenital opening here. Okay, so that's a male. So, urinary system, kidneys, ureter, bladder, through the urethra, that's what this tube down here is called, out the penis, out the urogenital opening. Okay, so that's the male structures there. Okay, now this pig has a scrotal sac that I've cut open here, and we have this guy right here. So this is a testes. So here's where the sperm is produced. So if I peel this structure off, so we're inside the scrotum now. Actually, it's free. I've already cut it free. Inside of this guy is where you're going to find the structures that produce sperm cells. So meiosis is going to be going crazy in there. So sperm is produced. It travels out this direction through the spermatic cord, there's a hole in the body wall. So one of the things that's interesting about male anatomy is sometimes those small intestines can sneak through that opening. That's called a hernia. That's one of the ways to get a hernia. So if we follow that spermatic cord, I'm gonna flip this back over, don't get lost. Get that string out of the way. Here's urinary bladder, urinary arteries. Always go back to those things that you know. And here's that spermatic cord, the vas deferens, that's dumping. If this pig was producing sperm, it would be producing sperm, and it would travel down this tube into the urethra. The urethra went down here, remember? Up through here into the penis and out the urogenital opening. So that's the male anatomy. You need to know both male and female anatomy. Well, I guess this lesson's over. That's the urogenital system.